Or what if everything you've been told about human history is a lie? Aliens didn't build the pyramids, ancient humans weren't helpless, and yet millions have been made to believe otherwise. One man started it all, one man who rewrote the past, and no one stopped him. In the next 4 minutes, you'll see the truth they've been hiding, line by line, claim by claim, deception by deception. This isn't about aliens. It never was. It's about erasing human achievement and profiting from it. Stay glued, because what comes next will change the way you see history forever. Let's begin. They told you that humanity needed aliens to achieve greatness, that without extraterrestrial guidance, we couldn't have built, discovered or imagined the monumental. And at the very center of this lie stands one man, Zecharia Sitchin. Before ancient aliens became a cultural phenomenon, before the History Channel discovered it could monetize pseudoscience better than history itself, before Giorgio Tsoukalos became a meme, there was Sitchin, a man who convinced millions that humans were mere byproducts of alien engineering. But the truth is far less glamorous and far more damaging. Between 1976 and 2010, Sitchin published 14 books claiming he could read Sumerian cuneiform tablets. According to him, these texts revealed that humanity wasn't a product of evolution, but a slave race genetically engineered by the Anunnaki to mine gold. He described intricate spacecraft, alien hierarchies, and technological knowledge far beyond ancient human capacity. But here's the first, most critical lie. Sitchin had no qualifications whatsoever to read Sumerian. None. Zero. Not even introductory coursework. He studied economic history at the London School of Economics. That's it. Not linguistics, not Assyriology, not archaeology, not anthropology, not epigraphy, the study of inscriptions. He never took a single course in Sumerian, Akkadian, or related Semitic languages. He never apprenticed under a recognized Assyriologist. He never published in a peer-reviewed journal. Not once. Ask yourself this: would you take medical advice from someone who had never attended medical school? Would you trust a structural engineer who had never studied engineering? Would you believe someone claiming to be a concert pianist without ever having taken a lesson? Then why trust someone claiming to decode the oldest human language without training? Despite this, Sitchin's books sold millions of copies. He traveled, gave interviews, and marketed his work with the confidence of a scholar, yet the foundation was entirely fabricated. He created a pseudo-academic persona, the independent researcher, the alternative scholar, the truth-teller ignored by mainstream academia. Experts who have studied his work extensively warn that his translations are not just incorrect, they're fabricated. Words are invented, grammar is twisted, entire narratives are created to fit the alien mythos. For example, the Sumerian word An, universally accepted as sky or heaven, becomes the one who came from the sky or rocket ship in Sitchin's books. Context? Ignored. Evidence? Twisted. Grammar? Non-existent. It's fiction presented as translation. Consider the word Dingir, which means God. In Sitchin's work, it becomes extraterrestrial engineer or space traveler, depending on what his narrative needs at that moment. Multiple words are added, altered or misinterpreted to create stories of aliens, spacecraft, and human genetic manipulation. He didn't stop there. His marketing genius ensured that these ideas spread far and wide. Television producers, documentary filmmakers, and conspiracy enthusiasts amplified his claims. Sitchin never had to prove his translations. Attention, not accuracy, was the currency. Controversy sold, mystery sold, the promise of forbidden knowledge sold, and sell it he did. Even after his death in 2010, his ideas continue to permeate television, internet culture, and merchandise. Ancient aliens, History Channel specials, memes, online forums, They all profit from the foundation of lies he created. Here's how his deception works systematically. 1. Self-proclaimed expertise. Sitchin created the appearance of authority without credentials. 2. Fabricated translations. Words and grammar were manipulated to produce alien narratives. 3. Profit from misinformation. Books, documentaries, and public appearances converted myth into money. 4. Repetition and reinforcement. Through decades, each repetition embedded the myth deeper into public consciousness. Ask yourself this: how many other claims on television, in books or online follow the same formula? The Sitchin model isn't unique. It's a playbook for pseudo-archaeology. And the most dangerous part, millions of people believe it without ever questioning credentials, context, or evidence. Experts like Dr. Michael Heiser have repeatedly debunked his translations. I've analyzed Sitchin's work. He invents words that don't exist in Sumerian. Grammar rules are impossible. Context is ignored. This isn't interpretation. It's fabrication masquerading as scholarship. Imagine being taught an entire history where words are twisted to create lies. This is exactly what Sitchin achieved. He made fiction feel authoritative, and the world ate it up. And now, think forward. Every claim about aliens in history, every pseudo-archaeological documentary, every meme, every social media post, it all traces back to this foundation of deception. But here's the kicker. Sitchin's real genius was not in linguistics. It was in storytelling and marketing. He understood human psychology. People crave mystery. People crave forbidden knowledge. People want to believe in something greater than themselves. He delivered, and the world responded. By the end of this act, one question looms. If Sitchin's entire career was based on mistranslation and fabrication, how many other so-called experts are doing the same today? And that leads directly into Act 2. The pyramid's deception, where the very stones of the earth are used to fabricate the myth of alien engineering. Wait until you see how every claim of impossible construction crumbles under scrutiny, yet remains a staple of the ancient aliens' narrative. They say the pyramids are perfect, precise, impossible to build without alien technology. You've seen it countless times. Ancient aliens clips showing perfectly aligned blocks, impossible engineering, and hosts with wide-eyed astonishment. But what they never show you is the truth, the human story, the ingenuity, the labor, and the planning that made these marvels possible. Let's start at the very beginning, the quarries. The limestone and granite blocks weren't flown in from Mars. They were cut from quarries adjacent to the construction sites. Archaeologists have found partially finished blocks still attached to the bedrock, copper chisels embedded in stone and chisel marks showing progressive cutting. Every stage tells a story. Humans experimenting, learning, improving their craft over generations. Transporting stones? No aliens required. Large blocks were moved on sledges lubricated with water to reduce friction. Teams of skilled laborers coordinated using ropes, ramps, and pulleys. Experiments by modern archaeologists confirm this method works efficiently. Humans built pyramids with physics, geometry, and determination, not extraterrestrial lasers. Then comes the leveling of the base. Ancient aliens loves to scream impossible precision, but Egyptians used water trenches as natural spirit levels and A-frame wooden leveling devices to achieve surfaces accurate to centimeters over hundreds of meters. It's ingenious, but human. The tools were simple, the technique meticulous, the results phenomenal. Inside the pyramid, ancient aliens often ignores the workers' villages. These aren't minor footnotes. They reveal the social organization that made construction possible. Thousands of laborers lived in organized communities, with bakeries producing thousands of loaves daily, breweries and medical facilities. Payroll records etched on limestone flakes show daily rations of bread, beer, and meat. These weren't slaves. They were skilled craftsmen, proud of their work, leaving graffiti marking which team built which section. But the narrative of aliens persists because mystery sells. Ancient Aliens crops footage, zooms in on polished stones, ignores rough edges, and omits the full context. They rarely, if ever, interview archaeologists who can explain how humans achieved the precision. They never show the water-level methods, the ramps, the sledges, the careful geometric planning. Now, consider the psychology behind this deception. By framing the pyramids as impossible, the show fosters awe at aliens while diminishing human achievement. It's subtle, it's deliberate, it erodes respect for ancient humans and sets up the audience to believe that extraterrestrial intervention is necessary for human accomplishment. The pyramids are just the beginning. This pattern, cropped evidence, excluded experts, manufactured mystery, repeats across the globe. Puma Punku, Nazca Lines, Machu Picchu. Ancient Aliens builds a template for deception with every episode, using the pyramids as its proof of concept. The real question you should ask: why is it that, after thousands of years, every claim of impossibility collapses under scrutiny? Why do experts repeatedly show that human ingenuity explains every detail, and yet the myth persists? That's exactly what we'll uncover next. In Act 3, the stonework conspiracy. Wait until you see how stone cutting in Bolivia and South America was systematically misrepresented to make humans seem incapable. You won't believe how far they go to hide the truth. Across the world, ancient stonework has long been presented as evidence of alien intervention, and yet the truth is far more impressive and human. Let's start in Puma Punku, Bolivia. The H-blocks, machined to astonishingly precise tolerances, are frequently described as impossible for humans to cut and place. Ancient Aliens shows you smooth, flawless surfaces, cropped to perfection. But what they never show are the tool marks, unfinished edges, and trial and error evidence. These stones tell a story of human skill, ingenuity, and patience. Archaeologists studying Puma Punku have discovered that these blocks were carved using copper chisels, stone hammers, sand abrasives, and sophisticated hand techniques. Yes, the precision is impressive, but entirely achievable through human methods. When we watch indigenous stonemasons replicate the cuts today using the same materials, the results mirror the ancient craftsmanship exactly. This is time, skill, and repetition, not alien technology. The builders were highly skilled craftsmen, organized in teams, learning and perfecting their techniques over decades. Every groove, notch, and angle was intentional, refined through trial and error. The stones weren't impossible to cut, they were mastered. Puma Punku stands as a testament to human ingenuity, problem-solving, and generational knowledge transfer. Yet Ancient Aliens systematically hides these details. They crop footage, zooming in on the most polished areas, ignoring rough patches, and failing to include the human context. Indigenous experts who could explain construction techniques are excluded entirely. It's not negligence. It's a deliberate pattern of erasure designed to maintain the myth of impossibility. This deception is part of a larger pattern. Across South America, the Andes, and beyond, civilizations developed remarkable stonework independently. Machu Picchu, Ollantaytambo, and Sacsayhuaman all feature similar techniques: friction fitting, precise measurements, and sophisticated logistics. The knowledge of materials, angles, and labor organization was culturally transmitted across generations, preserved in local traditions, yet rarely acknowledged in popular media. Consider the impact of this erasure. When audiences see only cropped, polished stones and dramatic claims, they are led to believe humans are incapable of such feats. Their imagination is hijacked, admiration is transferred from real people to imagined aliens. And the more impossible the stonework appears, the more dramatic and profitable the narrative becomes. Let's pause and examine the psychology behind this deception. By presenting human achievement as alien-made, The show fosters awe at the mythical and skepticism of the real. It diminishes the accomplishments of entire civilizations, erasing their ingenuity from public consciousness. This is subtle, it's systemic, and it works. The question now, if humans could replicate these feats with simple tools, why does ancient aliens insist on presenting only the cropped, polished illusion? The answer is profit, attention, and the allure of mystery. The same formula repeats across the globe. Crop evidence, ignore context, exaggerate difficulty, and exclude experts. Puma Punku is merely the latest illustration of a worldwide pattern of human erasure. Up next, we'll see how these same techniques of deception are applied elsewhere, how the Nazca Lines, thousands of miles away, are misrepresented to convince viewers that humans were incapable of anything extraordinary. Wait until you see the geometric genius of the Nazca people, mischaracterized as alien handiwork. For decades, the Nazca Lines have captivated the world with their mysterious scale and precision. Ancient Aliens claims these massive geoglyphs, spiders, monkeys, hummingbirds, and geometric patterns could only have been designed for aerial observation. The implication: humans were incapable of creating them, leaving only aliens as the logical architects. But here's the truth. The Nazca people had the intelligence, ingenuity, and cultural motivation to create every single line without ever leaving the ground. Elevated vantage points on nearby hills allow complete visibility of the figures. Archaeological surveys confirm platforms, pottery shards, and ritual offerings at these sites, deliberately placed to guide human observation. This was human engineering, planning, and ceremony, not alien intervention. Wooden stakes, ropes, and basic geometry enabled the Nazca to maintain perfectly straight lines and proportional figures. Simple yet effective methods allowed them to replicate complex designs across hundreds of square kilometers. The construction process was coordinated, ceremonial, and culturally meaningful. Each line wasn't just a mark on the desert, it was a pathway, a sacred processional, a reflection of cosmology, and a statement of cultural identity. And yet, Ancient Aliens shows only the aerial footage, cropped and zoomed, reinforcing the alien runway myth. They never show the ground-level perspectives, the observation platforms, or the alignment with sacred wakas and seasonal water sources. Every aspect of human achievement, planning, geometry, ritual practice, is systematically hidden. Let's look at the astronomical context. Many lines align precisely with solstices, equinoxes, and celestial events, revealing the Nazca's sophisticated understanding of time and space. They weren't guessing, they were observing, recording, and embedding knowledge into the landscape. This was applied science, not alien magic. Furthermore, motifs on the lines appear across Nazca pottery, textiles, and temple decorations, reinforcing that these were culturally significant symbols. Spiders, hummingbirds, and monkeys were not random. They were deeply embedded in art, religion, and ritual. When viewed in context, the lines are a deliberate expression of human ingenuity, belief, and observation, not evidence of extraterrestrial intervention. Consider the impact of misrepresentation. Millions of viewers are led to believe that ancient humans were incapable and that the achievements of a sophisticated civilization were the work of aliens. Mystery and awe are transferred from real people to imaginary beings, erasing respect for the culture and knowledge of the Nazca. The same systematic deception is repeated globally. What happens when we examine textual and archaeological evidence in Sumer, Egypt, and the Americas? Each case follows a formula: crop evidence, hide human ingenuity, exaggerate mystery, and profit from audience fascination. The Nazca Lines are just one piece of the puzzle. By understanding the real methods and cultural context, viewers can see through the myth. Every line, every pattern, every ceremonial alignment reveals the truth of human achievement. And yet, Ancient Aliens maintains the illusion. because the story of humans as incapable without aliens is far more profitable than the truth. The next act will dive into translation fraud, where ancient texts across civilizations are systematically misinterpreted or fabricated to fit the alien narrative. Wait until you see how words themselves have been hijacked to erase human achievement. For centuries, ancient texts have held humanity's earliest knowledge: cuneiform tablets, hieroglyphs, inscriptions across Egypt, Sumer, and the Americas. But in the hands of Zecharia Sitchin and his modern imitators, these texts were transformed into something else entirely: evidence of aliens, spacecraft, and human inadequacy. Sitchin claimed that Sumerian texts described gods descending from the sky in fiery chariots, and that the Anunnaki genetically engineered humanity. But his translations are systematically fabricated, words are invented, grammar rules are twisted, context is ignored. Take the Sumerian phrase Dingir-na. Literally, it means God of heaven. In Sitchin's narrative, it becomes those who from heaven to earth came in rocket-powered craft. 4 words expanded into 11, 6 entirely invented. He didn't translate, he created. And this is just one of thousands of examples. Experts with decades of training in Sumerian, Akkadian, and related languages consistently confirm that Sitchin's work is fraudulent. He ignored the linguistic conventions, the historical context, and the cultural meanings embedded in these texts. Each alien narrative was carefully constructed by adding, removing, and twisting words to fit the story he wanted to tell. It gets worse. Sitchin's misinterpretations were cited by other pseudo-researchers, creating a self-reinforcing echo chamber. Ancient Aliens often references his work, and Sitchin references himself. Real scholarship, peer-reviewed evidence, and expert analysis are systematically omitted. Let's examine why this matters. When audiences see these translations, they are led to believe humans were incapable of writing, documenting, or imagining advanced concepts. The very idea of human ingenuity is erased. Mystery is constructed where none exists. Cultural achievement is replaced with alien fiction. For example, consider the Anunnaki. Historical Sumerian texts consistently describe them as chthonic deities, rulers of the underworld and earth, not spacefaring engineers. Sitchin rewrote them as extraterrestrial overlords, entirely erasing human context. He turned gods into aliens and myth into pseudo-history. Now think about the broader pattern. Across civilizations from Mesopotamia to Egypt to Mesoamerica, ancient aliens uses fabricated or misinterpreted texts to construct a single narrative. Humans are incapable, aliens intervene, mystery prevails. Each episode, each claim builds on the same foundation of misrepresentation. This is why textual fraud is so dangerous. Words carry authority and permanence. Mistranslation isn't just an academic error. It shapes public perception, distorts history, and erases human achievement. Millions of viewers internalize these lies, unknowingly reinforcing the myth and dismissing real scholarship. The same pattern of cropped evidence, excluded experts, and deliberate narrative shaping continues globally. If words can be hijacked, what about monuments, artifacts, or civilizations? The deception extends far beyond Sumerian tablets, and the next act, the human erasure, reveals just how comprehensive and insidious this strategy is. Strip away the aliens, the spacecraft, the fabricated texts, and the misrepresented monuments. What remains is the true story of human brilliance. Ancient Aliens systematically erases human achievement. Across continents, civilizations accomplished feats of engineering, astronomy, medicine, and art that stun modern experts, yet the show reframes them as alien interventions. Let's start with writing and mathematics. Humans in Sumer, Egypt, and the Americas independently developed writing systems. Sumerians invented cuneiform around 3200 BCE, enabling record-keeping and complex administration. Babylonians developed sophisticated mathematics, including base 60 systems for time and angles. These accomplishments required abstract reasoning, observation, and experimentation, skills innately human, not alien-given. Astronomy is another arena of extraordinary human capacity. The Maya tracked Venus cycles over centuries with remarkable accuracy. Egyptian astronomers aligned pyramids to celestial events with geometric precision. Polynesian navigators crossed vast oceans using stars, waves, and currents, mastering the art of navigation with purely human observation and cultural knowledge transmission. Medicine and engineering also demonstrate human innovation. Egyptian surgeons performed trepanation with high survival rates. Anatolians mastered metallurgy 8,000 years ago. Inca engineers built hydraulic systems and terraces that function flawlessly for centuries. The critical insight: our brains haven't changed in 50,000 years. Early humans had the same cognitive capacity as modern humans. The only difference between then and now is accumulated cultural knowledge, not inherent ability. Ancient Aliens teaches viewers to believe humans were incapable, dependent on extraterrestrial guidance. But the evidence shows otherwise. The pyramids, Nazca Lines, Puma Punku, Inca terraces, all human achievements, all meticulously planned, executed, and culturally meaningful. Why is this erasure dangerous? Because it undermines cultural respect, education, and historical understanding. Indigenous knowledge passed through generations is ignored. Students are misled to distrust scholarship. Tourists disrespect sacred sites. Entire civilizations are reduced to aliens did it narratives. Consider the psychological impact. Millions internalize the myth that humans are fundamentally incapable. Mystery sells. Answers don't. Every achievement erased becomes content, controversy, and revenue. But once you see the patterns, cropped footage, misrepresented texts, excluded experts, you can recognize the deception anywhere. Humanity was never primitive, never incapable, never in need of alien intervention. These lies have been deliberately spread for profit and attention, but now the truth is undeniable. Humans, across continents and millennia, are brilliant. And once this is understood, the myths of ancient aliens collapse entirely. This concludes the exposé. From Sitchin's fraudulent translations to fabricated impossibilities at the pyramids, stonework in South America, and the Nazca Lines, the evidence is clear. Humans built their own history, and we must recognize and celebrate that achievement.